in conversation with Helene Usherwood and Elizabeth Theobald. And we're continuing our series of discussions around supporting candidates either into their first non-executive director role or indeed to develop their portfolio career of non-executive director roles. So thank you for both joining and welcome.
Hello. Thanks, Nikki.
Helene, Elizabeth, if I wanted to secure a non-executive director role, how would I work with you as executive search headhunters? What would the processes be, and how would we, cultivate that relationship?
I think. Sorry, Helen.
No, correct.
I think the first thing is to kind of think about how you want to present yourself before you get in contact almost. And if you're not sure, of course, we're happy to have an informal chat. So you can just get in contact and have an informal chat with one of us about about your profile, about how you might go about kind of getting together a bio and a covering letter and all of those things. Helen, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, not at all. I mean, I think for some people, when I've had conversations, they're quite keen to just understand how exec search works. I think it's just important to say that we're often tasked by our clients typically to work exclusively for that organisation to find the right candidates with the right skills for them. So we receive quite a detailed brief by our clients preceding the search for then prospective candidates. And a typical sort of process as well is about attending first round interview with us as the search company, and then we'll also be involved in the final panel arrangements and referencing and so on. So we're with you each stage of the process. I think it's fair to say that Elizabeth and I are pretty friendly individuals, so we always like to support our candidates as well through each of those stages. So providing feedback every step of the way, making sure that you feel fully briefed, that you know what to expect. And we will provide some quite fair, honest, but hopefully objective feedback throughout that process as well, so that you can continue to learn and develop yourself. But as headhunters, we're basically aiming to find that perfect match for both the individual and the organisation in question. I think the best way to engage, as Elizabeth says, we'll happily take the informal conversations, help guide people if they're a little bit unsure as to what to do. But I'd always recommend to people it's a two-way process with search firms. It's basically up to the individual to keep an eye on the website to see if any roles come up that really motivate, spark an interest, and if so, to pick up the phone and have a conversation and see if there's a suitable match. But similarly, we will also keep details on file with that person's permission, and we'll make sure that that database is used and utilised through a search, as well as doing new research as well for candidates. And if, again, we feel that there's a potential match, we'll pick up the phone too and speak to that person and see whether or not it's something that they'd like to go for, if they have capacity for it, if it fits from a location perspective. Sometimes it's just simple things. But if we're speaking to you and we don't have a role for you right now, we might well have something for you in the future. So we do keep people in mind. I don't know if there's anything more you wanted to add about that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I think just to reiterate, the key things are that we do work for the client, and so we will have had a number of briefings with the client, with the chair, with a number of their board, with their exec team, to really understand over and above what it says on that job description or person specification what they're looking for. And by that we mean that we will have really work to understand their strategic aims and their priorities, and therefore what they're looking for from their board member. We will have also worked to understand the current culture on the board, and whether that they want to change that, or whether they're looking for somebody who will fit really well with that. So there's so many aspects. Each brief is very unique. And so we're never looking for two of the same finance professionals. Even if you've got a finance background, you won't have the same track as everybody else. And so it is a really unique brief. So as Helene says, We'd interview people against that brief. We'd have conversations. We'd be working out about where you're located, if you can spare the time for the role, if there are conflicts of interest that we need to be aware of, all of those kinds of things. So it's a quite kind of, thorough and detailed process, and one in which we would have had lots of conversations with you, actually, if we're really interested in your profile. But also, as Helene says, don't always wait for us to reach out. If you see something on the website, or, if you follow us on LinkedIn, we're an equalities based executive search firm, and so we do advertise everything through LinkedIn, and we make sure that all of those opportunities are open to everyone. So if you see something, feel free to give us a call. Our numbers are there. You can get in touch and have a chat with us about it.
Thank you. That's really good advice. And I think what I'm taking from that is candidates need to be really proactive. It is absolutely a two-way relationship, and candidates need to, be the ones to proactively reach out as well when they see opportunities.
Definitely.